Hello and welcome to the Nikon D5200 channel. We've had a few questions about the playback menu and about what you can do inside it, particularly with reference to setting the JPEG quality, the white balance and also the ISO. So we thought we'd do one short video with all three of them in because they're all essentially in the same menu. So if we switch on here, if we go to menus here and we go to the shooting menu, you can see here just across the way and down to is image quality. Now image quality refers to the quality by which you compress your image if you choose to, and obviously the more you compress it, the poorer the quality image is the end result. It's often a balance. If you want a really good quality JPEG image, then you have to have a large JPEG image. That obviously eats up memory. If you're not too worried about the quality of the image, then you can afford to have a more highly compressed JPEG image, which gives you a smaller image and therefore a smaller footprint on your memory card. As you progress, you may well wish, if I just go in here, to take any of these options here, which are the raw images. The raw images are basically uncompressed, and that obviously means that they eat up about 70 megabytes per still. Depending on the size, the gigabyte size of your memory card, you can pretty much work out how many images that's going to be. Of course the camera would tell you. If you look here, you can have basic JPEG, which is not very good, frankly. It compresses far too much, and so it eats away at the quality of your image. Normal, which is a bit like a Costa latte in that it's not really normal, it's smaller than normal. And fine, which gives you a good quality JPEG. Then you can go on to just basic raw and then choose to have a double savings, basically, of saving a raw image and a JPEG. And of course, as you can see here, it gives you the various choices of the levels of JPEG that you might want to choose. So that's how you get into it. I'll just go back here because that's really what I want to save. You go to menus, you go down to shooting menu, and then you go on to image quality. We've also had some queries and questions about the white balance. Now the white balance is also in the menu. If we just charge that up again. If we go into the menus, then we can see on the playback menu that it's not on there, it's on the shooting menu, and we can see here that the white balance is just about fifth down. Now we have it on auto usually because auto is pretty good, but there is a range of selections here that you can choose from. And for example, if you knew that you were going to be shooting in quite harsh fluorescent light or in direct sunlight, then you could make those choices here, and obviously you've got the OK button for some of them. In fluorescent, for example, you have other selections, more specialized selections within that fluorescent category. But if we just go back, we can go down to some of the others and note that at the bottom there is the preset manual. Now the preset manual is quite handy because, again, if we go to the right, we have two choices. The first one is measure, which essentially means that the camera will measure the white balance before it takes any individual picture, and it will judge what is white in that picture. The other, which is particularly useful, is use photo, and for that you can present to the front of the camera, to the front of the lens, a white card, which obviously, because it's in the light in which you hopefully will be shooting, will be tainted by that light, and the camera will be able to detect firstly the white card and then judge by the way that that card is tainted how to balance the other colours to make that card white. So that's particularly useful if you know that you're going to be under some constant lighting which perhaps doesn't fall into the categories of incandescent or fluorescent or tungsten or whatever. That's something that's worth knowing how to do, though as I say, frankly, it's probably not worth doing outside of any specific and special required photo shoots. So that's the most obvious way of getting to white balance. However, there are others, and you can get there by normally just pressing the I button at the top here. So if we press that, again, you will see that there's a selection here of choices that you can go along. It's actually a very handy way of getting into various options quite quickly. And again, you can see that we've got here the picture quality, so we've got fine, and if we wanted to, we could go into normal, basic, raw, etc., which we've just seen. Go back. But we could also, as you can see, go along to white balance, where it seems to be set on pre, and now we want to move it along to auto, and there you go, it's on auto. Now, we've had also a question about how to set the function button at the front to white balance. Now, you can do that by again going into menus, but instead of being in the shooting menu, you want to go into the custom settings menu. Now, when you're in the custom settings menu, if you go down to F, controls, and OK that, then you can see here assign function button. And in this instance, it's assigned to ISO because that's how we wanted it, but we have also the option here to set it to white balance. Now, that means that once we have done that, if we again go here, which I can just do this, if I press the function button, we are back here where I can, oh, that's on flash, sorry, if we set the function button, not the flash button, then you can see that it highlights white balance, and by moving along here, you can move along the various options. So that is one way of setting the the white balance to the function button. You can set the white balance via the I button here, and you can also go into the menus to do it. And I think that pretty much covers all there is to know about the white balance. And finally, for this video, we're just going to look at the ISO settings, which is again accessible via one of the menus. So if we just go into the menu again and come down to shooting menu, you will see that right down towards the bottom and the second page, there's ISO sensitivity settings. And if you OK on that, you'll see that you can move the ISO accordingly up and down to however you might want. And this obviously sets effectively the film speed that you're going to be shooting at. I have it, I think, on manual at the moment, which doesn't give me auto. Normally, of course, if you have the camera set on auto, then the ISO will be auto as well. But because it's on manual, you can set the ISO to what you would like it to be. Again, because it's on the back of the camera, if you want to press the I button, you can come in here and move along, and it will highlight ISO there. And if you go in, you can then move it along using the multi-selector button to whatever ISO you want. So that is a quick rundown on selecting JPEG quality, selecting white balance, and selecting ISO. As you can see, they're all in the menus, they're all accessible by the I button, and in terms of white balance and ISO, you can actually put those onto the function button and make those the default for the function button, which is on the front. And I hope that was helpful.